Hi, my name is Terry, and I work as a nurse in a long-term healthcare facility in a small rural town. And today I want to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine and the fact that some healthcare facilities, some employers are requiring that their employees get this vaccine in order to keep their employment. The 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, as you all know, has shut down the entire world for over a year. And Stop the Spread campaigns and mandatory quarantine periods have pressured employees to take action to reduce workplace contamination and employee time off. Pharmacy manufacturers have rushed to create a vaccine to stop this virus. They want to be the hero in this game. They want to come in and show everybody how good they are. Employees, especially those in healthcare, are pushing their employees to get one of these vaccines. My question today is, should we be forced to get that vaccine? Healthcare workers claim that the vaccine has not had enough adequate testing and time, and therefore we should not be forced to take that vaccine. Reports show that even if an individual does get one of these vaccines, they are not protected against the COVID-19 and they still may be able to spread it. Today, we're going to look at the vaccines, the side effects of the vaccines, and the current research data pertaining to the effectiveness of these vaccines. But first, let's take a moment to look back at the development of this novel coronavirus. Every one of us has experienced the shock of finding out that one of our coworkers or one of our family members has tested positive for the coronavirus. Now what? What do we do? Well, first of all, we have to quarantine. We have to go in and get that awful nasal test done that makes our eyes water. We have to then wait. We have to sit at home all alone, waiting. We're waiting for some symptoms. We're waiting for our test results. Maybe we're waiting for impending doom. We don't know, but we're at home and we're waiting alone. What exactly is the coronavirus and why is everybody so afraid? Well, the coronavirus is an infectious disease that is spread primarily through the droplets of saliva or discharge from the nose when an infected person coughs or sneezes. It can cause mild to moderate respiratory illness in healthy people. But with those with underlying history of health issues like cancer or COPD, it can cause serious illness and it can even cause death. The virus has caused a worldwide pandemic. And drug manufacturers, of course, have rushed to create a vaccine to stop this virus. There are three main types of COVID-19 vaccines. The first one is known as the mRNA vaccine, and it contains material from the virus and gives cells instructions for how to make a protein that is unique to the virus. Our cells then destroy the genetic material from the vaccine and remember how to fight the virus if we're infected in the future. Moderna and Pfizer and biotech are manufacturers of this type of vaccine. These vaccines are required, they have 2 shots that are required 21 to 28 days apart. The second type of vaccine is a protein subunit vaccine, which includes a harmless protein of the virus and instead of using the whole germ. So the body makes T lymphocytes and antibodies to fight off the virus in the future. The third type of a virus is a vector vaccine, which contains a weakened version of the live virus. It is different. It's a different virus that they inject. It's not the COVID-19 virus, but it's a similar one. And the body can build proteins against the virus, and then the T and B lymphocytes are then programmed to fight the virus off in the future if you should contact it. Are the vaccines safe and are they effective? Should employers have the right to mandate vaccines for their employees in order for them to keep their jobs? That's the question that I have today. VERS, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, is where somebody would call in or report that their patient has had an adverse reaction to one of the vaccines. They are claiming that of the 63 million doses of vaccine administered in the U.S. from December of 2020 to February of 2021, only about 2,000 people have died from the vaccine. They also claim that if you are having an allergic reaction or a bad reaction to the vaccine, that your healthcare provider will have something to give you immediately to reverse those effects. The CDC states that the FDA does not mandate vaccines, but the state, local governments, and your employer might have the right to, depending on their state laws. Healthcare workers are being pressured to get vaccinated. Is it right? Is it wrong? I feel that it's wrong. Now that we've looked at the virus and available vaccines, let's look at why employees are hesitant to get the vaccine and why they are against mandatory vaccines. As a healthcare worker, I have been exposed to the virus numerous times. I work in a long-term health facility, like I said, and of my 12 residents on my unit, 9 of those residents have contacted COVID, tested positive, and survived. I have taken care of them throughout that whole thing. My own father has had COVID. I went to the hospital and stayed with him on the COVID unit. I have been exposed numerous times to COVID, and I have not contacted it or tested positive, and I am tested positive twice a week through my employer. So as a healthcare professional, I am against the vaccine because I haven't gotten COVID after being exposed so many numerous times. So why now would I want to inject that vaccine into me when there hasn't been adequate research done? Healthcare facilities, I get it, they're being hit hard by employees calling in, but a lot of them are taking advantage of it. They want the time off, they want the paid time off. We're giving them paid time off. So they're getting hit hard. They have a lot of people taking time off and not enough people to cover the floor to take care of the patients. And again, they want their healthcare workers healthy and strong so that they can take care of the patients and not give it to the patients. I get it. But healthcare workers are claiming that the vaccine has not had an adequate amount of time to be tested, and therefore they should not be forced to take the vaccine. Especially those who are pregnant, those who are childbearing age, those who have illnesses. They just don't feel that they should be forced to take that. Most workplaces, especially in healthcare, are still requiring employees to quarantine if they've been exposed, even after they have gotten the vaccine. And personal protective PPE, we've all heard about that. It's still required. Even if we've been vaccinated, we still have to wear full PPE when we are at work, even if we're not around anybody that is COVID positive or suspected to have COVID. If the COVID vaccine is not able to protect us enough where we can stop wearing the PPE, where we don't have to worry about having to take time off if we're exposed, what is the benefit for healthcare workers to get it, especially when we don't know the long-term side effects? Drug manufacturers are claiming that the drugs are safe and effective, but yet we still hear stories on the news all the time about healthcare workers who are getting sick or dying after getting the vaccine. And mandatory testing is still being done. So I work in a healthcare facility. We are mandated to have the test done. It depends on our county. Sometimes it's twice a week. Sometimes it's only once a week. Sometimes it's once every other week, depending on our numbers. So even though we're being vaccinated, we still have to go in and get those tests done. So in summary, healthcare workers are concerned about the negative effects, the long-term effects of these vaccines. And if it's not going to protect them, if it's not going to help them to stop wearing PPE, if they're still at risk of getting it, if they're still at risk of exposing it to others, what is the benefit of getting the vaccine, and why should employers make us get the vaccine? I have enclosed some handouts for you on information on whether or not you should get the vaccine, some questions on who you should contact if you have a bad reaction, and you need to make the decision on your own. We as healthcare employees need to be comfortable with the decision that we make, and we need to stand up for our rights. And if we don't want to get the vaccine, we shouldn't be forced into getting it. So I have a couple of fun little memes here for you. I showed you the first one, and then the second one that I have is actually, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just questions and answers on the vaccines that we've already discussed here. So it's your body, your choice. You get to make the decision. I just feel that I shouldn't have to be forced to take it.